Check on here. Can't really see. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Everything's good? All right. Good morning, MilesPerHr crew. And this, to my right, is the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS. And I have it for you today. It's a very special episode of our live Q&A. We've got Patrick manning the camera as usual. Thank you, Patrick, for being here, making the time. And I wanted this episode, or this Q&A rather, to be, no?
No.
Mics aren't working?
No.
Hang on.
Nope.
No audio. Let's see. It says they're connected.
The blue thing is not on. This one's on.
That one's on. They're connected. This one is also connected.
Okay.
Weird.
But that's not on.
But this isn't on?
Mm-hmm. Can you guys hear us by any chance?
Can you hear us? Anyone? Can you hear us? Let's see.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Cool.
Y'all can hear me. Okay, great. So, sorry about that. Of course, it'd be an audio glitch right away. And I do apologize for being late, as usual, as I am with these things. It's not that I don't care. It's that I've got a daughter who wakes up early, and then my wife needs my help. So, so I wanted to just do a different sort of live Q&A. Obviously, I will answer questions about the 718 Cayman GT4 RS. I will have a POV drive review up for this, and lots of different shorts content on it. But I also wanted to give you an opportunity to ask me any questions that you have about what I do, how I got started, any of those things, or just things you're curious about. So Patrick, if there's any questions that are coming in, happy to answer those. And then we also have folks who have asked questions on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, it's just at MilesPerHr. And also on the YouTube community page, I always post it before this video goes up and let people answer.
First question is, are you going to the 2023 Chicago Auto Show to review the Toyota Grand Highlander?
Yeah, so the media days for that actually already happened yesterday. So yesterday or even 2 days ago. So the normal show dates when the public is allowed to go are happening right now. I'm not going to be going to that. We're getting real close to the birth of our second daughter, and so I'm staying real local for all those things. But I will. I know Toyota well, and I've already expressed interest in reviewing the Grand Highlander when that is available. So they know that I'm interested.
Okay, let's see. Matt R. asked about the car. How great does it sound?
Sounds pretty great, Matt.
Do you want to move this way?
Yeah, and we will. I'll start it up. We'll drive it. And we'll have that chance, because honestly, like me sitting here revving it, it's not going to sound nearly as good as when I can take it to 9,000 RPM, which we'll do out on the street.
Okay. What did you do before YouTube?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Let's see. Immediately before YouTube, I was an automotive writer. So I wrote for different publications. I wrote for Motor Trend, Car and Driver, Automotive News, Rob Report, Digital Trends, a bunch of different outlets, all covering cars. So I would write news articles about them. I would do some reviews and things like that. And that's how I made the contacts that I then leverage right now to get these vehicles to review. Before that, I was doing, let's see. Right before that, I started a food product business with my dad. And that didn't pan out. I didn't know anything about the food industry, and so I just threw all my money at that. And before that, I was doing marketing for tech companies on the East Coast.
Cool. That's a good question. I don't think no one's asked that.
No, I don't think anyone's asked that. Yeah.
Someone asked, is this GT4 RS limited production?
They're not going to be making that many of these.
Wow.
They're still producing it. So someone else asked in the questions, so what model year is this car? This is a 22, but they haven't changed it at all for 23, and they're not changing it for 24. But that does mean that they're producing it for 22, 23, and 24, but they're not making many of them. And so already people are speculating this car is going to be very, very difficult to acquire, potentially even more so than the 911 GT3 or GT3 RS, which is already a hard car to find.
Joshua Cray asked, we do meets and stuff. Well, not a meet, but cars and coffee and stuff when we get a car and stuff.
Like a meetup?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can totally do that. And I can even stage it I love going to South OC Cars and
Yeah.
Coffee, so we can stage it there. Yeah, we can definitely do that. How about we plan for that well for 500,000? So for 500,000, like we'll do a legit meetup. It's already been cool. Like we crossed 400,000 like this week, and we're already at like 407.
That's
so
crazy.
Like we're getting close. Like hopefully 500K won't be too far away. And so we'll do a 500,000, and we'll meet up, and I'd love to actually meet you guys in person and chat.
Because we go to Cars and Coffee, people recognize it. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool. Like,
it's cool.
It
was funny. So like when driving this, I drove this in the canyons a couple days ago. There's a guy who was out on his motorcycle, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is an amazing car." And because you're only seeing my face like in these live Q&As and stuff, like he didn't recognize me, but then he found out what channel I had, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I watched all your videos."
That's cool.
So yeah, that was fun, and I got to run with him down in the car and him on his bike.
I was wearing your shirt
Yeah.
at the gym. I remember I told you and stuff. Someone was like, "Hey, I recognize that YouTube video or the person." So I was like, "Oh, that's actually my friend."
That's awesome.
Yeah. What was your most favorite car that you reviewed?
The best car I've ever driven was the McLaren 765 LT. And that was only one-upped by the 765 LT Spider, because then you could hear the engine a little more. But I love that car. It's so dialed. Everything on that just feels like they went around all little bolts and just tightened everything perfectly. And so the way that it handles is incredible.
The grip was insane.
The grip level's nuts. The aerodynamics in that car.
I've never felt anything like that car. Like,
it's just like it's astronaut prep, like right, the G forces on your face.
Because we were taking turns, like,
yeah,
no other. But man, that grip. I mean, it felt safe, but crazy at the same time.
Yeah, and that's what happens with aerodynamics. Like you literally, the harder you push the car, it's actually almost it's like a tipping point, because if you push it like to a certain extent but don't go hard enough, then the aerodynamics can't come into effect, and it's actually even potentially more dangerous than if you push the car harder and allow them to suck you down to the ground. It's very interesting, aerodynamics.
Someone said there's a supercar social at Bugatti Newport this Saturday morning.
It's Saturday morning right now. We're obviously not there, so but that's cool. I mean, so here's a question for you guys: Is this a supercar? I wouldn't call it a supercar, but I mean, I only raised the question because you said a supercar social. I don't think I could turn up in this and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a supercar." No, it's a sports car. It's a very, very good sports car, but it's not a supercar.
Let's see. What was your least favorite car you have reviewed?
Least favorite car I've reviewed? Toyota CHR.
Really?
Yeah, that one still goes down in my mind as the worst car I've ever had the displeasure, worst new car I've ever had the displeasure of driving. Drove it around. There was something wrong with the steering calibration, so it made you feel sick. And I have an incredible tolerance for motion, and that car made me sick.
The supercar social is next Saturday.
Oh, next Saturday. Okay, well maybe we could do that. Yeah, but the CHR, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't see out of it, which was astounding to me. They're building a modern car with zero visibility. And it was before like blind spot monitoring was becoming standard. So this is back in like 2016 or something when they were introducing it. And it was just like everything about it was a fail. The engine was totally underwhelming. I was just like, how are you building this car? But that's the worst new car I've ever reviewed. Maybe they've made it better. Maybe it's been discontinued. I can't even remember.
This is a good question. I don't think no one's asked. Have you ever been stopped by the police officer while filming?
Yeah, it's in a video. The Ram TRX, the first time I reviewed that, when I was still doing like the camera here and I was talking, yeah, an officer pulled me over because...
Actually, it might be a little dirty. They're saying that the lens is dirty. A little foggy, yeah.
Oh, I can see that. Hang on.
Yeah.
Bring it down a little bit. I'm gonna clean it.
Sorry, guys.
This is...
Thank you for telling us.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought it was just, it's little...
It is overcast today.
Yeah.
Does that make it any better, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
You know what's funny? I thought it was the screen in the front, but I'm glad someone said something. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, so the Ram TRX video, I did like a launch, I wasn't going too fast. because the speed limit on the street was high, but it was the exhibition of speed that he pulled me over for. He's like, "Oh, it's so loud," and then he like was starting to chit chat with me, and I'm telling him about what I do, and he's like, "Oh, that's so cool," and he's like starts looking my stuff up, and he ended up just being like, "All right, well, please just be quiet in this neighborhood." So he was really chill, but yeah, that's the only time I've actually been pulled over while filming.
Let's see. Someone asked, how can we drive cars like you do?
Well, I mean, so I give this advice to people pretty regularly on like TikTok and Instagram, and people who email me and reach out, you know, how do I get started doing this? The way I did it is not necessarily the way I would recommend doing it in this day and age. So the way I did it, that sounds like I'm old, but like a few years ago when I was getting started, the way you did it was you started writing for different publications, you were a freelancer, you would make contacts with automaker PR people, and then eventually they would, like, if you wanted to do your own thing, you would do kind of what I did. I branched off and I pulled the contacts with me and I said, hey guys, you know, I don't have a big audience, but you know me, I'm not gonna destroy your cars, I'm gonna, you know, work hard to make content for you, and would you please give me a loan of, out of the beginning, it's like, it's a Honda Civic or it's a Toyota Corolla, it's something basic, right? But then you'd get those loans and then you'd make the content and then eventually stuff would grow and then they would just kind of continue to like snowball like that. That's still a way you can do it, right? It's not like it's outdated, but if you want a potentially faster process, but is not as guaranteed, right? So if you do freelance for different publications, you will make connections with automakers. It happens because they're already working with those outlets. And so now you're part of that outlet and they will talk to you. If you start making content, like just start producing content, short form content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever. I recommend short form content first because one, it's easier to kind of get started with doing that. And two, like a lot of those social media platforms are pumping dollars and effort into growing that side of what they do. And so that therefore means that they're pushing that to people heavier. So you can get discovered on shorts like overnight. And I know like the automotive community is kind of oversaturated right now with content creators. But there's always room for people, there's always room for more, frankly, because they're not you, right? And so people can end up loving your personality and the way you disseminate information to people and, you know, your different comparisons and things like that. So there's always potential for you to be discovered that way. And I think short form is the best way to do that right now. Just putting out tons of different content. If you don't have access to cars, if first I would say, you know, if you have a family or a friend's car that you could review, do that. And if you don't have access to cars, then, you know, just talk about what's going on in the car news. Just say, hey, you know, Toyota just announced this Grand Highlander, let's talk about it. And they provide the B-roll publicly, so you can have B-roll that you pull out from their websites, and all the information is shared publicly, so you can have it like your own take on it. And I know a number of like friends of mine who are in the car community who that's how they got their start and that's how they became successful. So that's kind of like if I was gonna say, hey, go do this right now, I'd make a ton of content. Then you will get the attention of automakers and their PR people as your audience grows. Alternatively, you can also go to dealerships and see if you can work out something with them. I don't love using dealerships because they're always like, hey, you got to plug our car, or you got to plug our dealership. And if I don't know the dealership well, I find it hard to recommend someone because you can end up in a situation like Patrick just had where you're dealing with a pretty slimy operation. So like, I don't want to just plug anyone I don't know. If you did your research and there was a good dealership, then that's one thing. I'm talking a lot, but basically like there are ways to still do what I do and probably get to my position faster than the way that I did it. But it is going to require a lot of work.
Ed starts tuning in. He said, hey, Miles, got room for a helmet in the GT RS?
Oh, yes. And Ed, thank you so much, as always, for being so generous and for just being such a big part of this channel.
Oh, yes. Someone asked, what's the name of the color? Sorry.
The color is called, what is this color called? It's yellow. I'm just kidding. Gosh, what is the name of the color?
Someone said probably speed yellow.
It might be. Guys, it's going to be in the POV drive review video. I cannot remember the exact name of this color.
This one's automatic. Oh, yellow canary? Nope.
No, I mean, Porsche has a specific name for it. It might be speed yellow, but I think it might not be as well. Oh,
It's a nice yellow. It's not.
tell you what, guys, in the description for this video, the color will be in there because I'll make sure that it's in there. So I do apologize. I can't remember the exact name for it right now, but oh yeah, I was going to answer Ed Starr's question. He was asking if there's room for a helmet in this vehicle, and so I'm 6 feet tall, and I have a longer torso. So usually the headroom is the issue for me, and I still have headroom.
Plenty of room.
So you could easily put on a helmet. You're not gonna have to do this. I do have the seat as low as it goes, but yeah, you'd have room for a helmet, no problem, Ed.
What is your favorite car?
Favorite car that I would love to own one
GT.
day, dream to own, would be the Ford GT.
Yeah,
2005 or 2006 Ford GT. It is like way up there for me. It was a car that first like just stole my heart at a car show when I saw it.
It's beautiful. I love the
Absolutely gorgeous
interior, man.
Yeah, the interior's so cool.
The buttons.
Yep.
That's like what I really love.
Manual, supercharged, mid-mounted V8. Like, come on, like it's so good. All the heritage of that car,
Yes,
like
that's what I like too.
It's amazing. I mean, I also, Doug DeMuro just got one, the Carrera GT. Same era, right? So I'm big into that era of supercar, but the Carrera GT also is way up there with the Beechwood shifter and just incredible V10 sound. Yeah, that one's high.
Oh, someone asked if you know Doug.
I've met him a couple times. I wouldn't say like we know each other well, but I've met him a couple times. Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna start answering some. I'm gonna say some questions from Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm debating trading in my Mercedes for Cayman, but which version should I get? Americans.
Yeah, it's such a good question. So, I love this car, and it's pretty good in all its flavors, but the base 4-cylinder, the turbo 4-cylinder, just doesn't wow me. That you still have, what's great about this car is like whatever engine you have in it, you have this platform. You have the mid-mounted setup, you have the wheelbase, you have the suspension geometry, you have all the ways that they've calibrated this car to be a great driver's car. The steering's so good, but the 4-cylinder just underwhelms. So I would get the GTS 4.0. It's $88,000, but you get a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6. It's a bored out, deturboed version of the standard 911's motor. And it's very good. It sounds amazing. It's got plenty of power. I have a POV, or is it POV drive? I have a review of that car on my channel. You should watch it because it's like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Red Gamers asks, is that fixed wing or adjustable?
It is adjustable. It's got two
Nice.
positions that it can adjust to. But it's not one of those where you press a button and it adjusts. You got to get out there with some tools and adjust it.
How much force does it have?
How much what?
Horsepower?
Horsepower. So this car also has a 4-liter flat 6, but it's not the same one that you get in the GTS 4.0 or even the Cayman GT4. It is the engine out of the 911 GT3. And so it makes 493 horsepower and it makes 331 pound-feet of torque.
Raul asks, how's the exhaust?
Sounds great. Raul, we will get into that very shortly when we take it out for a drive.
Bomb 159S, is it more fun than a Miata?
So this is really interesting because like, it depends what speed you're going and it depends like what road you're on, right? Because like, if you're just on a around town road, you can have more fun in a Miata than you can in this car because this is stiff and like edgy and like the grip levels are so high, like, and you have to really rev it out to get all of that fun noise or whatever. A Miata, you can just be zipping around like a go-kart and have so much fun. I saw this like couple just driving, the wife is driving the Miata, it's a manual, and she's just putting around and they're just having a ball, top down, like. So it really depends on the environment. If you start to get to a good road, higher speed, this is absolutely more fun because like you can push the car so much further and it just gives you more. It just gives you more feel through the wheel. You hear more of that motor. You know, you just, the grip level and the balance and all that is just out of this world.
Steven asks, could it be driven daily or is it too loud and stiff?
That's pretty firm. So these are the standard sport bucket seats. They don't have back adjustment. They do slide and they raise and lower. But
It looks planted.
These,
like,
yeah. These can get uncomfortable after a longer drive. I took it out for like hours yesterday, and it was pretty tedious after a while. I stopped caring about it because I was driving so fast and having so much fun, but the seats are pretty tedious. The suspension is very stiff, and it's not adaptive, it's adjustable. I said in the video in the beginning, I said it was adaptive. It's not. So it's got 2 different firmness levels, and both of them are firm. So I would say dailying this, and also getting in and out of the seats aren't that easy because they are fixed. So you got to get over the bolsters, and then you got to kind of slop into the seat. You can get 18-way power adjustable seats for this, but why would you? Like it's such at odds with what the car is about, which is about being incredible on a great road or on the track. So
What's the starting price of this car?
So the starting figure for the GT4 RS is $144,000. A base Cayman is 62, so it's a giant step up in price. But as I think you'll see in the driver view, it's a giant step up in performance. It's like a night and day difference.
TRX asks, is it better than a Z06?
That's a great question, TRX. And it's funny because in my drive review, I don't bring the Z06 in as a competitor, but I really should because it's 129 for the Z06, 144 for this. Like it would be a direct competitor. I bring in the regular Corvette Z51 as sort of like the bargain alternative, but this and the Z06 would be very interesting. A Z06 would be way more livable day to day, which is shocking. But yeah, it's easier to get in and out of. It has more space than this, even though this is pretty practical. It's got a giant front trunk and storage behind the engine. Z06 has even more space. Z06 is faster, 670 horsepower. I think the top speed might be very similar, 196 miles per hour for this. I think the Z06 is also in that same range. 0 to 60 would be very close. It's like Car and Driver got 2.8 seconds for this. Z06 is like 2.6. And on a track, it depends what kind of course you're on. If you're on a very tight little road course, this would definitely either win outright or at least keep pace. And the Z06, if it's on a longer road course, bigger sweepers, longer straights, Z06 would be faster. But man, between the two, this is going to be more rare. The Z06 is
common.
Yeah,
you'll see it more than this.
You will see it more. Like people are like the price points that they're putting on top of the dealerships putting on top of them are very, very high. Yeah. This would be the same deal. Man, it'd be really close. I love the Z06. I love the Z06. It'd be close.
Young Auto Reviewer asks, what was your first car?
Young Auto Reviews asks, what was my first car? So my very first car in high school was a 2000 Chevy Suburban.
Nice.
That my parents had used for their mattress manufacturing company, and so I got to drive that around. It was a V8, naturally aspirated V8.
The Vortex engine?
Yep, tons of power. Yeah. Sorry, like tons of room, rather.
Yeah.
And so we'd take out the seats, and I would drive around with my friends in the back, and in a safe environment, right, in a parking lot, and I would just like whip around, and they would just like flail in the back. That was a lot of fun.
Did you ever do the in and out trays or anything like that?
No, I never did that. Oh, not with that car. I did it with the GTI.
Yeah, I did that with the GTI. Those trays and stuff.
That was fun because it was like it was front wheel drive, so it was the only way I could get the back end to come around in the GTI. But yeah, the GTI was my first car that was like mine. Nice. Like not my parents had it; it was mine.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
Top speed.
196.
Wow.
For this one. It's high. For a car that's this size, you may not be thinking, all right, this will be that fast, but yeah, 196. You guys want to look at the engine? Let's see. Or rather, at least we can look at the cover to the engine. So yeah, carbon fiber engine cover with the, I'm going to ruin this, Weissach Package. I think that's how it's said. So you get that, you get carbon fiber for this wing, that, as I said, is adjustable to different positions. You get carbon fiber for the door mirrors, for the hood, and...
I love those, what are they called, the tail lights for, there's a name for it?
These?
Yeah.
The LEDs?
Well, because they're usually not gray or black. They're mirrorless? No, I forgot.
Oh, you probably know the name more than I do. I just go like, they're LED taillights.
No, there's a name for that.
They're OLED LED taillights, but not these. Yeah. They make OLED LED taillights, but I'm not sure what the name for them would be.
Let's see. Would you choose this over a Corvette C8?
Yeah, so I mean, I say that in my drive review. Man, over the Z51, 100%. Over the Z06, very, very, very close, guys. My gut is like, shoot. I'm questioning my gut right now. I don't know. This is so much fun to drive.
Yeah.
A better question is like, would I choose a 911 GT3 over Z06? Better question
I think
because
someone asked that too right now.
well, it's a better question because like I'd probably choose a 911 GT3 over this. It'd be very close, but I choose a GT3 over this.
Let's see. Someone asked. That was a good question, actually.
Show you the front trunk too.
Oh, do you think the interior of this car is not worth the price?
It is very purposeful. Everything about this interior is like, oh, we're here to go fast, right?
Yeah.
What I love about this interior is it's very honest. You want to like make the headlights go parking lights or headlights, you've got like a dial to turn. There's a volume knob. There's a tuner. The gear selector is very obvious how to work it. The door handles are just like these strap pulls. Everything is as intuitive as it gets. Like you know what each thing does. I love that about it. It is not luxurious by any means, but also Porsche vehicles in general. I was having this conversation with Forrest of Forrest Auto Reviews yesterday, and we were like, it's so interesting because people buy Porsches thinking, oh, they're a little more expensive than a BMW or a Mercedes, so they should be more luxurious,
Quality,
right?
man.
But they're not. Like they are more expensive because they're more rewarding to drive. And so people are like, is it worth the price for this interior? And you're like, well, I mean, you're not buying the car for the interior.
Yeah.
So it's good enough, but frankly, like they're hard plastics in places that you're like, man, this is I think as tested, it's like $170 something thousand. Like 170,000 and like the air vents feel like this. Like,
would you rather buy this or a used Lotus?
Oh, that's interesting. I love Lotuses. The Evora GT, I just want to show that I can fit in the front trunk. The Evora GT is a great car. I have not driven the Emira yet, but I've expressed interest to them that I want to drive that. So a used Evora GT.
That's plenty of room, by the way.
Yo, this is a ton.
That's plenty
This
of
front
room.
trunk is huge.
Yeah.
Used Evora GT would probably be around $70,000 or $80,000.
Carbon fiber, and you can see the leaves.
So as tested, this car, as I said, like 170 or 180. So in theory, you could get a used Evora GT for about $100,000 less than this car. It's going to be pretty much as rare. You're not going to see many of those out there. You can get it with a manual. This is PDK only. It doesn't make as much power. I think it's 400 horsepower for the Evora 400, which makes sense. It's very light and fun and nimble to drive. The grip levels aren't as high. As I said, not going to be as fast. I think this looks a little cooler, not a lot, but a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, man. Despite the fact that I just bought a new car, my gut reaction is always to go look on the used car market for where my money could be better spent. I bought the new car and because I love the CT5V Blackwing. It's the sedan that like.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you still haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we gotta change that. I'll take you for driving it. And you can drive it. It's not a press car. You can drive it. So yeah, like
What's your daily car right now? Or you have two?
Yeah, I got two. I mean, there's the Land Cruiser, the 94 FCJ80 generation Land Cruiser, and then I have the 23 CT5V Blackwing. But so my point was like, my default is not typically to buy a new car. My default is like to say, oh, if I take this $50,000 that I would have spent on a new car, I can get two amazing used cars, or I can get a 10 times better used car that was maybe $120,000 new. Now it's $50,000. So that's usually my default, but the Blackwing was different. The Blackwing was, I knew they were never gonna make anything else like that again, so I had to buy it. Had to.
Let's see. When is the McLaren Speedtail coming up on the channel?
Speedtail, since they're not like, that would have to be something they had in the press fleet, which they don't. And it would have to be, or it would have to be something that an owner had that they wanted to let me drive. I don't know anyone with
That's
it.
a super rare car, right?
It's a very rare
it's
car.
Not,
yeah.
I haven't seen them.
I've seen, no, I saw one at the Peterson Automotive Museum.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Of course they would have it there.
Yeah, but I haven't seen one out and about, not even at a car show. But yeah, it would be cool to drive one.
Someone asked, do you think a manual version of this car would be better, or is the automatic fine?
So the PDK in this is very special. Not only are Porsche PDKs just great in general, this one gets the software from the GT3, and it also has a different final drive ratio and shorter gearing, so that you basically get to stay in like the peak torque, which is around 6250 RPM. You get to stay there all the time, whereas like a manual, probably longer gearing for that, you're shifting more. It's another way of engaging with the car, but given this car's purpose is to just be a ripper on track, it's not going to be as fast. The PDK is so good in this car, and I'm always like a champion of manuals. The PDK is so good in this car, and it's so visceral in like the way it changes gears and the quickness of it, the tactile feel of the paddles and operating those, that I'm like, I wouldn't get this in a manual. I'd get it in the PDK. I'd have other cars in manual. I'd have my Blackwing, which is in a manual. I'd have that car in a manual. I'd never get it in the automatic. But this car I would have with the PDK.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's...
No, and there are many things that are very right about it. And that's really the thing. It's not like, it's a little better than, no. It's a great gearbox in this car. Should we go drive it?
Yeah, well, someone asked before, would you do any more ASMR daylight drives without any talking? I think it's just me, but I only see nighttime drive.
Yeah, so it's a question I get every so often.
I had to say that because it's...
No, it's a question I get every so often, and it's a fair question. The reason I don't do them anymore is time.
Yeah.
It's literally just time. I've got a kid. I've got another one coming very, very soon.
Good. Hey,
my time is pretty precious, and at this point, like, one, selfishly, I have way more fun when I get to be the big kid and like gabber on about cars while I'm driving them, because when I do the no talking videos, like I'm holding myself back from being like, whoa, or like whatever when I'm driving.
Hey, but you know what? You manage really well to multitask. You know, you're doing the car review and driving. Not a lot of people can do that, man.
Well, that's very kind of you, Patrick.
Oh, no, I'm serious, because like forgot what video you were doing and stuff, and you were like multitasking. I was like, oh, that's hard, because you're focusing. I think was the Lamborghini STO, maybe.
Yeah.
That you're focused, but you're talking. I mean, that's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I see.
Well, so I mean, but yeah, like I have a lot of fun making those videos. It's not like I don't enjoy making the ASMR videos. It's just like, if you're gonna give me 2 hours of time, I'm gonna rather spend that on making the drive review videos. And frankly, it's like, that's what's happening in my life right now. It's like, I don't have infinite time. And so I've got this, and in fact, like I'm probably having to like pare down even more than I already was with my second kid coming. So it's like, I can't add in this extra time. What I could in theory do down the road, and I may just make a separate channel for this or something, is bring on some people where like the personality doesn't drive the videos, right? It's the way that you make the ASMR videos, and just have a channel just dedicated to no talking content. And I may do that. I may spin off. I've got another channel that's just for my shorts content. I may spin that off and just have that be the ASMR channel, and then just have the MilesPerHr channel be personality driven stuff.
You want to start it up so you can
we'll start it, and then we'll go drive.
Yeah.
Hey, Timothy.
Okay, that sounds nice.
That's pretty good, right? Just wait. Like, it's gonna get crazier. Wait.
We can't rev it here because we're gonna get in trouble and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I'm not gonna rev it here. This is. I'm gonna get it. I don't want to upset anyone.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna take it off. You know that guy?
Yeah, that's Timothy. And
He just got a show.
yeah, Timothy gets to see it in person. Yeah, he I've met him before.
Cool.
He's come by. He lives in the area, so really sweet. I'm gonna move this to the seat belts. So, one of the first things that was funny to me about this car is I'm so used to 911s with a dial that's on the wheel to adjust all these modes, and it's just like these buttons here in the center, and there aren't that many of them. It's like, do you want sport transmission? Great, that's a button. Do you want louder exhaust? That's a button. And suspension, do you want that firmer? Like
apparently someone knows Timothy.
Someone knows Timothy?
Yeah, on the chat.
Or is it Timothy? It might be Timothy.
I don't know.
Huh.
What's the best car you've ever driven? I think we...
Yeah, we answered that earlier. The 765 LT is the best car I've ever driven, at least until I drive my... I still haven't driven my dream car, the 2005 Ford GT. Still haven't driven it. I know someone who has one, and I just can't seem to get time to review it. So the couple has come out of here.
Yeah. No, we're just feeling the...
Oh. Yeah, the carbon fiber, it's matte. I always prefer matte finishes for carbon fiber to gloss. It bums me out. I mean, my car, Blackwing, has gloss carbon fiber. I'm not bummed out that it has carbon fiber. That's awesome, but I love the matte finish compared to the gloss.
I could see these seats being uncomfortable
after a little while. It's like, oh, my back needs support. Now, maybe that's the 32-year-old me talking, but need some support.
I love these cars, man.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's funny. It's like people often mistake this for being a manual because
it looks
just like a manual. But no, it's the PDK selector.
I think I drove when I did the Porsche experience. I think I did. What did I do? I forgot what Porsche I did and stuff, but it's pretty nice. How's the audio system?
The audio system is right behind me.
You're gonna say that.
Honestly, it's like
you don't need it.
I mean, like, who cares? Like, really, who cares? Because I say who cares specifically, not because I don't value a good sound system. I really do. This car is not something I would recommend as a daily driver.
Yeah.
So when you take it out, what you want to hear is the intake noise. It's the lifters. It's the exhaust as you're getting it out towards red line. Like, that's what you want to hear. You don't care about the audio system. If this was a daily driver, I'd say, well, okay, so when you're not on the car, here's how the audio system sounds. It doesn't matter in this vehicle. This shouldn't be a daily driver. And if you have the money for it, it's definitely not your only car. So right now we're cruising around in like as comfortable, as mellow as this car gets. So the PDK is being a little lazy and
oh wow!
You hear this? You can hear a change. And as you work yourself up the rev rates, you can hear a change. That was only at about 3,500 RPM.
Wow.
But as you work your way up, you can hear a distinct change in the audio profile of this powertrain.
I love that sound.
Just wait, man. You have no idea. Just wait.
What is the material, interior, and steering wheel called?
It's all in what they call Race-Tex. It's
Race-Tex.
just suede. It's suede wrapping that Porsche has their own special name for. But yes, it's nice that it's everywhere. Like, it's pretty cool. It's all over the place. It's on the dashboard. It's on the console. It's on the headliner. It's on the doors. It's on the steering wheel. It's everything.
How does the handling compare to the GT3 RS?
Haven't ever driven a GT3 RS. I've driven a GT3, and the GT3 is so good. The handling in this is even better, though, because enthusiasts have wanted a mid-engine Porsche to get the GT3 motor, and this finally is the realization of that. And so it is the perfect platform. The mid-engine platform is completely ideal for balance. And so you take the GT3 engine and you put it in a car that's even more balanced, and it's better, right? But for me, I still like I think I still prefer the dimensions, the added wheelbase length, the look, and the heritage of the GT3 over this car. That's why it sells me. But I wouldn't go out there and say the GT3 is better handling than this. No, this car is better handling.
Racing yellow is cool, but shark blue is bomb. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Shark blue, it's the same, basically the same color as my Blackwing, and I love that color.
Someone said do the honk test. I don't know
Oh,
if you
the
can
horn
hear it.
test? Hang on, I'll just turn right here and just do a quick horn test.
Hey, my friend lives here.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Actually, one of
Let's honk at
my
him.
lawyers.
Okay, here we go. Horn test.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, that's such a cheery horn.
Yeah.
It's such a, like a chipper horn.
Okay. A Cayman GT4 RS or the 911 Carrera 4S without mods?
Cayman GT4 RS or the 911 Carrera 4S without mods?
Yeah.
Oh, 100% this car. Like, for me, it's got to be the GT3 version of the 911 for me to say I would take that over this car. It is so good, this thing, that it'd have to be a GT3 or a GT3 RS for me to say no to this. This thing's amazing. So if you want to go faster, PDK in sport. If you want to be louder, exhaust louder. You can hear, like, it just, like, it's like the bass drops. I told you.
What?
I told you. I said, just wait, Patrick, just wait.
Wow.
It's going to open up and it's going to sound magical. What you're hearing are the intakes right by your ears.
That's, wow.
You got
that
intakes
is-
right next to your ears, and then you've got the engine with no partition. There's nothing
Wow.
separating you from that engine in this car.
Wow, that's,
I know,
dude,
right?
This is...
I know, right? When you get towards that 9,000 red line, it changes. The character of the car completely changes. We can't go up this way because we lose reception, so I'll just flip around.
Wow. What was the other we reviewed? Was it the 911 maybe? No, it was a gray one.
Oh, well, we reviewed the GT3 on this road. Remember the blue one? The shark blue GT3?
No, but it was a gray one.
Because
that one had the Targa. Oh my,
Targa
okay.
GTS. That
Okay,
was pretty cool.
Yeah, but this sounds way better.
It
Like,
sounds so much better.
this is...
It's so much better. The
Wow.
soundtrack is unbelievable in this car.
I hope you guys could hear the
This.
way it sounds, because... That's nuts.
That doesn't get old, man. It just doesn't. I drove this all day yesterday, and I'm just as giddy as I am today.
Jealous.
It's just, that's the sound. And I don't know if it sounds as good outside the car as it does inside, but it sounds really good.
I prefer inside.
Inside,
I prefer inside. Yeah.
It's just, that's race car right there. It sounds like race car.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, those
Wow.
shifts sound so
This
mean.
is-
So mean.
Does the Race-Tex get dirty easily? I mean, I would assume so.
So what it does is, and this is what I'm worried about for my car, is it takes in oils from your skin.
and it
So
gra-
it starts
oh,
to
yeah, yeah.
pill on the wheel. So you gotta maintain that.
Oh, someone said launch control. Too late.
I don't know if we're gonna have a chance to do that, but we'll still do fun runs. So good.
Wow.
Huh.
How good is it at absorbing bumps?
Terrible. I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot of absorbing them. It kind of just passes them on to you as
Wow.
the
That sound
passenger.
is insane.
I know, we gotta hear it more. I'm gonna put it in manual because it keeps wanting to upshift. Just too
Wow.
good. Just too good.
gets this car is gonna be super happy.
Yeah.
Super happy.
Very, very happy. Yes. Yes, they will. There's your launch control. Did one of them.
Wow. How much is this car? I'm gonna go buy one.
Too much, dude. It's 144,000 if you could even find one. But like, you're just not gonna be able to find them.
It's probably the market price on them too.
Oh, market price would be crazy, but that's again if you can even find one. Like, the production is limited enough that people just can't seem to find them.
Chief Master, it is begging for a racetrack. I think this would be.
It is 100% begging for a racetrack. Yeah, I mean, I did a very, very good Canyon Road yesterday, and all I could think was, I need a racetrack.
100K over sticker. That is insane.
So people, 244 is what these cars are going for? Jeez, and that's without any options. So if you add in options, like if this 178, 278 for this, that's a little much. But what's crazy is that sounds it's a little much. It's probably gonna be worth way more than that down the road. Like, this thing is so special. It's something that enthusiasts have clamored for so long that I can see it being worth more.
What do you think be the rarest color on this?
Rarest color?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I will tell you, you can get magnesium wheels for this car. Those are going to be pretty sought after. Like 15 grand just for the wheels. They do reduce the unsprung mass a little bit more, but yeah.
Omar, thank you for donating, man. Thank you, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. I'm kind of jealous.
We'll do a downshift for the donation. Downshifts for donations. It's wild because I've been in so many loud cars, but like the way this sound is unfiltered, is very unique. I don't know if I've ever experienced something like this where it's just like it's right there. There's nothing stopping.
Maybe the McLaren, because the McLaren was like that too.
McLaren was it's like that. It is loud.
Because I was throwing it, but this is more defined sound.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I mean, all Porsches are.
Well, so it's more defined, but in addition, it's also more, it's got more variety to the sound.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a single flavor of noise in this car. Like, as I'm working through the rev range, it's changing every time.
All the brakes feel good.
Brakes are amazing. The carbon ceramics are, as Patrick saw, he was like, these things are huge.
Massive.
Like, they are. They're massive carbon ceramics. Ooh, NSX. OG NSX. And yeah, they're very good. The stopping power is incredible. The brake bite is immediate. It makes the car feel even lighter than it is at 3,200 pounds.
Man, I'm deciding where to sell all my cars just to get this.
Well, what I'm saying is like, so yes, this engine is magic. It's absolute magic. But if you want like 75 to 80% of this car, the GTS 4.0 it's got the balance. It's got a 4.0 flat six. It's not the same. It revs to 8,000, not 9. But it's pretty great for 88. Pretty great for 88.
How's the handling?
Inspired. It is honestly poetic. Like the way you have fine control over everything that this car does. The way you can operate the gearbox, the way the steering just communicates to you, you know exactly how much grip is left in the tires. You know exactly when the rear end is going to come around. Like it's like someone's just reading you poetry.
Jealous. I'm really, I don't know, the next car, man, could be this.
If you can find one,
hey,
power to you.
I got people that work at Porsche for the dealerships and stuff.
Okay, well.
Actually, one of my buddies I went to high school with, he's actually pretty connected. He just came back from the East Coast because he was selling cars now.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's at the the new Lamborghini dealership.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, if you can find you one, it won't lose its value, that's for sure. I can guarantee this car is not going to lose value.
You've been a thermal, right?
I have.
Imagine that car here. That would be.
I drove a race prepped Cayman at thermal,
Nice.
and this is shockingly close to that. That's how crazy it is. Like the race prepped Cayman, it was lighter. It was about 300 pounds lighter than this, and so you could feel that in the corners. But I don't think it had any more grip. I don't think it was any quicker in a straight line. That's how good this car is.
I'm jealous.
Guys, any last questions?
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask me anything. I don't have to answer it, but you can ask me anything in this episode.
Is this the best sounding straight six you've ever driven?
100%. Yes, I mean, apart from the GT3, which is also the same engine. So, but the GT3 has more between you and that engine, so you don't hear it in the same way that you do. This is, in the driver's seat, best sounding straight six ever.
Thabo says hi.
Or not straight, did you say straight six? No,
Yeah,
flat six.
Flat six.
This is a flat six. Who said hi?
Thabo.
Thabo, hello. Thanks for tuning in.
Is it better than the LFA? That's a different sound though.
Yeah, that's V10.
That's
4 more cylinders arranged in a different configuration. I have personally never heard an LFA from inside the car. I've heard it from outside, never inside. So I can't really say this is better. I'd have to drive an LFA, which should go bother my friend Tedward, who knows someone with one. Go visit him on the East Coast and go see if I can review that car, because I really want to drive an LFA.
This is a 2022.
22, yeah. There are no changes for 23, no changes for 24. So 22 is going to be the exact same. Oh, pull the strap. It's weird, like it releases, but you have to like yank on it pretty hard. Oh god.
That's super low.
Yeah, it's not, especially without your hands.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get in and out of this thing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What a car.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, I don't know if there are any other questions. Happy to answer them. If not, then look for more content on this car coming soon. In addition to, let's see, on Sunday, I'll give you a little preview here. On Sunday, we've got the Challenger Hellcat Black Ghost. So one of the last call Hellcats is coming out. So you may want to watch that.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much.
400K.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much for always being here and helping out, and thank you guys for helping me achieve that, and just helping me still be able to do what I love. So I'm very grateful, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.